Hello, grade 7. How are you today? I hope you all are safe and well. Today our lesson about soil. We studied before about earth, structure of earth, and we studied rocks. So the second thing in earth is soil. We all know that soil is vital. That means it's very important in our lives. Without this soil, the plants cannot stand in the water or like take minerals because they are relying on soil to take minerals, and they can keep them in place. And without plants, that means the animals cannot eat, or at least the herbivores. So open your books on page 66, grab your highlighters and follow me. Soil. Vital soil. Soil is vital. It holds plant roots in place and provides plants with essential nutrients. Without soil, there would be few plants. Without plants, there would be few animals. What is soil? So we all know just soil, and we know that we have different kinds of soil, but what is it made of? Soil is a mixture. It's not a compound because we can separate the ingredients from it, or we can separate the mixture. So the pie chart here shows its main components. Read on to find out more about these components. So this is the pie chart. Why we are naming this pie chart? Because it's like a pie. We can divide it like this, as you are dividing a pie. So first, it made of rock fragments, air, humus, and water. So let's see each one of them in details. Rock fragments. Small pieces of rock. They come from rocks that have been broken up by weathering. So when this weathering is affecting rocks, we can have fragments, or we mentioned before, we call them sediments. These can form soil. They can be smashed as a powder, and they can be form a soil, but we still have rock fragments from these rocks as like very small pieces of rocks. Okay, what about the air? All plant organs respire, including their roots. They need a good supply of oxygen. When water is removed from soil, air replaces it. So here, when we remove the water from the soil, the air will get in. So that's how can we find air inside the soil. But how much? Like what's the percentage of the air? We have only 25% of soil of air in the soil, but the rock fragments 45%, which is the biggest percentage, or most of the soil made of rock fragments. What about the water? Water is vital part of soil. Plants use their roots to absorb water. Soil nutrients dissolve in water, so plants' roots can take them in. So here, how much we have? We have 25% water. So we have equal percentage of water and air, half of it. That means 50%, 25 of them air, 25 of them water, but rock fragments 45, and the only 5% humus. So what is humus? Humus is made up of decayed plants and animals. It's a store of nutrients for microbes. We all know that plants and animals can be, when they died, they decompose or decay. So when they decayed, they return their nutrients inside the soil. So here they can stay in the soil as remaining remains, and these nutrients from them can be very useful for microbes. Soil is also home for lots of living things like earthworms, insects, and other small animals. These help with decay processes and change soil structure. If a creature died and decomposed, the energy inside it will go to the soil, and we can use this energy for other creatures or other plants, which is the nutrients that they are eating. So that's how the soil could be a home. Soil types. Okay, what are the types of soil? Rock fragments in soil have different sizes. Their sizes help determine the properties of a soil and how well plants grow in it. Scientists have classified the size of rocks fragments. So when scientists studied the type of soils, they classified the soil according to the fragment size, the rock fragment size. So from size to size, we can name a different type. So here you can look at the name of the rock fragment and the diameter, like the size of the fragment here. So if they are small stones, okay, if they are small stones, that means they are the diameter of these rock fragments more than 2 millimeter. If they are between 0.05 and 2, that means it's a sand. If it's between 0.002 and 0.05, that means it's silt. And if it's clay, that means it's less than 0.002. So this is how they classified the types of the soil according to the fragment diameter or the fragment size. You can separate the different types of rock fragment by adding water to soil in a measuring cylinder, shake and leave to settle. Actually, we used this, or we made this in the lab when we tried to filter the sand or to separate the sand from water, or using filtration. We mixed some sand with, or soil, not sand, sorry. We mixed some soil with water. When we start to stir it, we found it's some of the soil is remaining down, is sinking down, and some types or some parts or fragments is floating up in the surface, but there is fragments or something is remaining or staying in the middle of the water here. So what are these? When you mix water with soil, you will get stones down because they are more dense than anything else. Then the sand, it's less dense than stones. Then clay, and then we can have a huge quantity of water at the end, or at the surface. We can find this humus. So here we have the main types of soil are. We have clay soil, sandy soil, and loam soil. So what are these, and how can we find them, or how can we figure out which type is this? So if it's clay soil, that means at least 40% of the rock fragments are clay. If it's sandy soil, most of the rock fragments are sand, and if it's loam, that means fragments in this soil are 40% sand, 40% silt, and 20% clay. It's a mixture, okay? We can say it's a mixture of these types, which is sand, silt, and clay. Okay, what are the properties of the soil? So each type is different, has different properties. So what are these properties? The properties of a soil determine how well things grow in it. You can compare several important soil properties in the laboratory or outside. Soil texture. So first we have one of the properties is the texture, like how can we touch it, okay? This is the texture. When we touch it, what do we feel? To find out about the texture of soil, rub it between your thumb and fingers. So we just need to take small amount in our fingers and rub it, like touch it. Sandy soil feels gritty. It's a little bit, we can say it's not smooth, okay? And dry, silty soil feels flowery. It's like a flower. But clay soils feel sticky when wet and hard when dry. So we all know the clay, when we mix it with water, it will be sticky, and if it's dry, it will be very hard. So this is the first property of soil to determine the type of the soil. Second thing, or second property, is soil drainage. So what is soil drainage? Drainage, that means the draining of water. When we pour water in it, does it like suck it in, or keep it up, or have 50% in, 50% out? So this is the water drainage. Water drains quickly through some soils. Okay, can you guess which type of them can drain quickly? Of course, the sandy one, because sand is more smooth and it can suck the water in quickly. And slowly through others. You can use the apparatus on the right to test soil drainage. So here, this is the apparatus here. We need to use filter funnel, okay? We need to use measuring cylinder and water. So here, and don't forget the filter paper, of course. No, here they are not using filter paper. They're using cotton wool to block the funnel here, the funnel tube, not to make the sand goes in. Water drain. Here. Salama takes 3 soil samples of the same mass. She pours 100 cubic centimeter water into each sample. She measures the volume of the water in the measuring cylinder after 30 minutes. Her results are in the table. So she used this apparatus and measured 100 cubic centimeter in a measuring cylinder, and she poured it on 3 different types of soil. And then she left it for 30 minutes, and then she started to measure the water in each sample or in each apparatus. She wrote her data or her result in this table. For the clay, she found it 19 cubic centimeter after 30 minutes. She only collected 19 cubic centimeter. But from the sand sample, she got 91 cubic centimeter, but for the loam soil, she got 52 cubic centimeter. So in your opinion, which one of them is the best choice for using in plants, or to use it for grow plants? Of course, all of them can grow plants in them, or we can plant any crops in them, or special ones, but the most convenient or proper one is the loam soil, because it doesn't suck all the water, so it doesn't kill the plant by excess water, and also it doesn't stop the water from getting in the soil like the clay. So in this case, the plants can take their needs from the water. The results shows that water drains most quickly through sandy soil. This means that in sandy soil, water is available to plant roots for just a short time. Soluble nutrients leave the soil quickly. So we will learn more about in the next lesson, more about soil, but in this time you just need to know about the types of the soil and the properties of each type. Of course, the Clay soil is not suitable even for plants, because it will stop most of the water, or it will keep most of the water up in the surface and doesn't suck it in. So in this case they cannot take their nutrients from the water also. So now let's go to the summary of the lesson. Soil. Soil is made up of rocks, fragments, humus, living things, air, and water. The main types of soil are clay, loam, and sand soil. You can test soils for texture and drainage. Both here, texture and drainage, these are properties. You can separate soil components by adding water to soil and shaking. So I drew a simple drawing or diagram here, like in the book. You can draw it in this way also. We can find stone down, then after this we can find sand, then clay, then water, which is the biggest amount, and then we can find small amount of humus. So this was all about soil. Don't forget to write these notes in your notebooks. And don't forget the yellow box. If you have any question, write it down, and I hope to see you next time soon, and we will meet in a new lesson. Please stay safe, okay? Bye bye.